Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Catherine and this is So Much Sewing. So Much Sewing is all about sewing. It's all about me. It's all about me sewing for me mostly. Fitting issues, fabrics that I purchase, patterns that I purchase, putting them all together, showing you my makes, talking about the pitfalls and the highlights along the way. So it's just really a good old-fashioned home sewing vlog. So if you're obsessed with sewing like I am, then I hope you will stick around. I hope you'll click the like button, click the notification bell and the subscribe button and all those things. And if you have been here before, then thanks so much for coming back to see me again today. I love the interactions that I have with you guys and the comments down below. It's not just a one-way conversation. It's not a one-way relationship here. I want to find out about you, what you're making, what your thoughts are on the things that I'm showing you. Find me on Instagram. I'd love to catch up with you and have a chat on Instagram. You know, I love just this whole community. So don't be shy. Please contact me. I'd love to have a chat with you. Today I am wearing a Vogue, can't remember the number, so I'll put it down here. I actually was wearing this in my last video. I filmed a couple of videos back to back, so I feel a bit naughty. It's a bit like wearing the same outfit to work 2 days in a row, but Today I'm going to talk to you about some pattern foolishness that I have going on in my life. Why do I do this? Do you do this? Do you buy the same pattern? Well, not the exact same pattern, but a pattern that is near as darn it the same pattern from a different company again and again and again. I suppose it's because I get drawn to a particular style. I like that particular style. I buy it, I whack it in my stash. I probably forget it's there. Or not even necessarily forget it's there, but forget to sort of look at it and forget to make it up. And then another company comes out with a pattern that's very similar and I go, oh, I love that, I need that, I'm going to make that. So I buy it and I stick it in the stash. These things, they don't get made up. And I just wanted to show you examples of silly things where I've purchased patterns that are so darn similar. I really could just, I guess they've got little differences to them, but if I put my mind to it, the pattern that I had purchased originally, I could make these little tweaks to and make them into this new shiny pattern that I just purchased. So I've just gathered together a few examples. I went through my sweatshirt, sweater, hooded sweatshirt type things, and I went through those. I was all about the long hooded dress, the long sweatshirt dress for a while, and I made the cashmerette long hoodie, well, without the hood. I made it as a sweatshirt. I made that a couple of times, and I've made the unwind hoodie a couple of times. So I was all about sort of sweatshirt things for a while there. So I looked at these in particular, and so I'll show you now some. These are not all the patterns that I have. There's some of the patterns that I have, but I have the Stanton hoodie from Cashmerette, and I have the expansion pack where you can lengthen it into a dress, which is what I made, put a zip up here, or have a plain neck, or have a hoodie, whatever. There's lots of variation there. So I have the Stanton from Cashmerette. I also have the Weekender Sportster, I think it's called, something like that, from Hot Patterns. So I have this, and I really like the look of this as well, with the kangaroo pockets in the front. But of course the Cashmerette's got kangaroo pockets, so you know, duh. Anyway, I have that. I have Billy from Tilly and the Buttons, which is the sweatshirt dress to end all sweatshirt dresses, isn't it? It's one of the OG, one of the original, and one that everybody has made up, except me. I haven't made it up, but I've got it in my stash. I also have the lounge dress by Pattern Emporium. This is a very useful looking pattern, and I need to make it up. I absolutely need to make this up. You can make it into a hoodie or take the hood off and just put a neckband on it, is what I'm trying to say. You could put kangaroo pockets on it, you can make it short, you can make it long, infinite variations out of this, and probably a really good fabric to make it out of is a nice sort of medium weight jersey. You could make it out of a thick sweatshirt, thicker sweatshirt fabric as well, but probably a medium weight jersey, and you would have the look of a sweatshirt dress or sweater dress. I also have this little beauty from a collaboration with Peppermint magazine and In the Folds. This is one of their patterns. I like the look of this. It's a nice plain comfy sweatshirt dress. I have the Phoenix by Style Arc, which is designed to be a bit shorter, but you could easily make that longer and oversized. I did make this a long time ago, before I lost my weight, and so I don't wear this any longer, but I need to revisit this, although again it's in a larger size bracket than I am at the moment, and it's already a large oversized fit, so I probably can't use this particular pattern again. If I want to make this particular Phoenix, then I think I would need to buy the next size bracket down. I think there would be a lot I would need to take off that to make it fit, but that's by the by. I also have the Weekender Art School pattern by Hot Patterns, another Hot Patterns pattern. Incidentally, I feel like Hot Patterns are no longer around. I went looking for them for pictures for this video, and I think they might have gone out of business. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Hot Patterns are still around? What do you know? Who's got the goss on Hot Patterns? And this other pattern here is the Winnie by Tina Gibbons, and this one's quite different with the sort of gathering around the hip area. It's sort of a funky little number. Now, whether I'm ever actually going to make that up or not, I don't know, because it is quite different. I don't know, but I bought it. So that's just the first little batch of, well, they're not duplicate patterns technically, but they're all pretty much the same, aren't they? They've all got little differences to them, but if I had one or two of those patterns, I could probably make every single one of those things in that group. Now we move on to sort of little cropped sweaters, sweatshirts. I would call them a sweatshirt here in New Zealand. I believe other people call them sweaters or wind cheaters if you're an Aussie. But, that's the concept of what I'm talking about here. Sort of fleece material, heavy jerseys, sweater knits, that sort of thing. So these are my cropped selection, and I've got all these in hard copy form. The first one is the Toaster Sweater by Sew House 7. I have made this several times. I've made the option 2, which is this one here, never the option 1, the view one. I've not made that one, but I've made this a few times. This one, well, you can't see what that is from here, is it? But that is the Mila jumper from Tammy Handmade. I've got the Cosmo Sweater by Sew House 7. I haven't made this one up yet, even though I've got it here and I've got it all printed off and cut out, ready to go. Haven't made that one yet. I've got the Lincoln Top by Love Notions, and I have made this up a couple of times, and I've got it in mind that would be nice made up in a sort of a heavier merino knit for the winter time, in a bit of a sort of a luxury fabric. So that's my plan for that. But this is different, of course, because it's got there's slits up the side and there's buttons on it. So it is quite different from the other patterns. I'll give it that. but it's still a cropped sort of a sweatshirt type thing. The unwind from Pattern Emporium, I have made this a couple of times and I've got it printed off. I've got it printed off again, ready to go, so this will get made again. But this and the Mila from Tammy Handmade, you know, pretty much the same really, aren't they? I don't mean to be insulting to anybody, but that's what I find is lots of pattern companies have got very similar sort of looking patterns, and I, you know, don't want to be offensive to anybody, but that is the reality. And so Sweet Cheeks from Pattern Emporium, that's another one that I've made up, but it's another cropped sort of oversized. And the Stay Top by LB Textiles, I do love this. This does have little slits up the side, and that is one of my favorites. It's got the t-shirt pattern in there as well, but you know, just as an illustration, it's another cropped sweater, sweatshirty type thing. We'll move on to shirts now, because I had a little bit of a obsession with shirts for a while. Not that I've made a lot of shirts. I haven't made a lot of shirts, but I've got some shirt patterns. So I am going to make shirts, and in fact I bought some fabric yesterday that I showed you in my last vlog, some black stuff with a sort of a diamond pattern on it. I'm going to make a shirt out of that, so stand by, it will happen. But the first pattern I will show you, patterns rather, I'll show you that are just so similar, it is ridiculous, is the Anae shirt dress by Style Arc, which I have made a couple of times. I thought I had done something wrong the first time I made it. The collar was shorter than, you know, from here to here, than the actual fabric, the shirt fabric here, so I had to pay jiggery pokery to get it right. And the second time I made it, it was the same as well, but I managed to make it fit a little bit better. But funnily enough, I saw Kristen on the Dahlia Society say, had she made it? She must have made it, because she said she found that the collar was too short for there as well. So I thought, phew, it wasn't just me being an egg, it is the way it is. So, but anywho, I digress. So that is the Anae shirt dress. And then we've got this McCall's here, which, hello, look at that. It is the same. Look at the line drawings. It's even got the raglan sleeve. It hasn't, oh, where are we? Can you see that? It hasn't got the actual two-piece sleeve. No, it wasn't a two-piece sleeve on the Anae, but there's a dart here. There's a dart there, so it hasn't got that. But I found that dart on the Anae shirt, even though the potential there is for some amazing fitting, I found that I couldn't get it quite right on my shoulder, and that's probably my skill level or non-skill level. But yeah, so that little dart there, but if you put a raglan a raglan shoulder pad in there, I'm sure that would make it sit absolutely perfectly. So where I was going with that is this one doesn't have the but it's got the raglan sleeve, and yeah, pretty much exactly the same. The next I have these two McCall's ones. I mean, obviously they're not exactly the same, but you know, quite sort of similar. Quite similar in that they are a sort of a shirt with a difference. So this one here has got the opportunity for shaping. You've got that rounded bib in the front, or you've got a V bib. You've got extra sections in here on the side to give it some interest. So I thought that was quite an interesting shirt pattern. And this one here, all those different options. You can put, I like this one here where you can put a little frill on the side, which then goes all the way around to the back. So there's just some different options there. So yes, these are different from each other, but you know, they're oversized shirts that if you had a pattern, a standard pattern, and if you had the mind to, you could, you know, chop them up, put little frills in, you could do what you like. You know, you could get your inspiration from another pattern and amend your pattern. We've got the Kelly shirt here, which again I have not made up, and I've even got the expansion pack to make longer sleeves, because I wouldn't have a sleeve that short. So I even got that. What else? One moment please. This Helga is probably quite similar in styling to these two that I just showed you. Again, it's quite a sort of an A-line shaping. It's got steps in the front and vents and things, so that's a little bit similar. And I've also got these two that I think are quite similar to each other. The Joni by So Liberated, which I have made twice and I do love it, and Tilly and the Buttons Rosa. I did do a video about this Rosa dress, and I've eventually, actually, it didn't go quite so well for me. So they both have got princess shaping through the body, princess shaping, but the Joni is just more of a looser, oversized fit. This one here is designed to be, you know, close fitting. And I know everybody says princess seams are your friend, you can get the fit just perfect, but if the fit is close fitting, I mean, that's just not my, it's not my vibe. So the Joni shirt, actually, this is a case where the two patterns might be so extremely similar, but this one, for my body shape, just wins, hands down. I hope that was a bit fun, and I'm sure we are all the same. I'm sure, well, maybe not all of us, but I'm sure many of us do that. End up buying patterns that are very similar to one that you already own, perhaps before you've even made up that original pattern. Anyway, I would be interested to hear your comments below, interested to see how you go with buying patterns. Do you buy similar patterns? Do you actually end up buying the exact same pattern, forgetting that you've got it originally and buying the exact same pattern? Or are you a bit more considered and a bit more measured, and you buy a pattern and make a pattern? Buy some fabric, make that fabric. That's amazing to me if you do that. Anyway, I'm going now, rambling. I'll see you later. Thanks for joining me.